Kiana's Flex Appeal was recorded on location at the beautiful West End Maui on Kaanapali Beach.
There are many reasons to create your own home gym. My favorite reason is that I can work out with weights or circuit training the first thing every morning. That way I have more energy throughout the day and I avoid being too tired to train at the end of a long, busy day. My gym is open 24 hours, 7 days a week. Remember, Flex Appealers, new research has demonstrated that aerobic training doesn't have to be continuous. The benefits are cumulative. You simply want to get approximately 30 minutes of training each day. A fun and time-saving way to work out is circuit training. We alternate between strength training and cardiovascular exercise at the same time. A fun way to motivate yourself to stay in shape is to invite 3 of your closest friends over and create a circuit training workout. Brad's starting off on our lunge station using a step to really develop and strengthen the quads and the glutes.
That's right, Kiana. In previous home gym exercise segments, we've done lunges on just a flat surface. Now that we're getting in better shape, we've evolved up to a step, which brings more emphasis put on the glutes.
That's right, we're kind of taking a step up, right? Bringing it up a level. Now, after you've done your strength training exercise, after 3 minutes, you hit the cardio. So why don't we switch? Brad now jumps on the life cycle, and Darren comes down to do some benching. Do you like to do circuit training workouts, Darren?
Oh, it's awesome.
Really get a sweat going, huh?
Yeah, plus you get this fellowship with some friends, too, at the same time.
Now, this is a terrific movement to develop the pectoral muscles, the shoulders, and the triceps, too. Good form.
This can also be done with dumbbells as well to add a little variation in your workout.
That's true. The barbell limits your range of motion slightly, but you are able to go a little bit heavier with the barbell. And again, if you're lucky enough to have an adjustable bench like we have, you can bring the bench up too and do some incline presses as well. Okay, let's move on. You guys are doing so good. I'm so proud. We're trying to make you proud. Now we have cable curling K. That's me. Perfect.
Making sure I keep my shoulder to my elbow very still with no movement and just curling and squeeze that bicep up at the top of the curl.
Excellent. That's a good point. Whenever I do this exercise, I like to think about keeping my elbows tight into the waist right here. This tiny little waist. And remember, Flex Appealers, if there are any pregnant women out there watching Flex Appeal, in general, experts agree that healthy women can perform moderate exercise, including resistance training throughout pregnancy. However, always consult a physician prior to beginning an exercise program and monitor yourself regularly. Okay, you guys, let's change up. And our next exercise, Brad, you're sweating over there.
I am.
Looking
It's a hot
good.
day.
Don't you love working out in Maui?
Nothing better.
Now this overhead extension is fantastic for developing the triceps. You can do it right here on the cable machine, in the gym, right at home. It's a great alternative to using free weights.
And you know, Kiana, a lot of guys and girls that are beginning an exercise program, they don't like to use weights over their head because of the fear factor. By having a weight like this connected to a cable, it gives you that safety to be able to experiment a little with the exercise and get some successful reps out of it.
That's true, so you can have no fear, right?
That's right, no fear.
Okay, let's do our final change. And this is a fantastic isometric hold for the abdominal muscles. Hey, Brad, check them out. Let's see if Darren and Kay can hang with this one.
Let them do all the work.
So basically, you just want to straighten the legs and hold, contracting the abdominal muscles. If you think about it, the abs work in this position. You use the abs in a stable position like this. If this is too difficult for you, bend one knee and hold there. And you really need to build up slowly to be able to hold like they are. They're very strong. When you first start this exercise, your abs will shake. Maybe you can only hold for 10 seconds. Gradually work your way up. If this is still too difficult, you can switch legs and bring your legs up even higher, which is a lot easier.
They're getting such a great benefit out of these exercises, and they're not doing a whole lot of repetitions.
Exactly. And you can even do this while you're watching television, too, which I do,
right.
believe it or not, at home. Perfect. Well, as you can see, we've had a lot of fun out here. And remember, if you make your workouts fun, you're more likely to do it. our muscle pull, or want to add more variety to your existing workout program, or if you just want to have more fun, the answer is as close as your nearest pool. Water is an automatic variable resistance machine for any body part. The water will cool and support your body while providing resistance to any movement, and it's easy on the joints. And hey, you guys out there, if you think this is just for women and seniors, let me tell you something. If you join us in a water workout, you'll work as hard as you ever have in the gym. Let's get wet. We're starting off today's Aquaflex workout with arm curls. Now I'm using small hand dumbbells for resistance. The guys are using resistance webbed gloves. If you don't have either one, you can always cup your hands for added resistance in the water. What we're doing here is curling the arms up and then pushing down, working the bicep muscles as we curl up and using the tricep muscles as we extend. Remember to keep your elbows in an isolated position. Up, down. We do 10 to 15 repetitions and then move on to the chest fly and rear delt fly. And this is a fun one. Arms in front, feet together, and open the arms back for the rear delt and bring them together for the chest. And push back. Come on, guys, and together. Good. Now, water workouts aren't just for women. These big, manly guys with me like it too. And back for the rear delt, squeeze, and together. Great. Now, it's important to be submerged under the water when you're doing this exercise. Sometimes you'll see people in water workout classes when they're out of the water, and that doesn't work. Okay, now let's move on over here for an exercise for the legs called quad extensions. Okay, let's lift our left leg up and extend out. We're strengthening the muscles in the quadriceps or the front of the upper leg. Really think about the muscle groups you're working. Contract. Good. Okay, 10 to 15 repetitions on the left leg, and then we switch and continue on the right leg. And up. Good. Contract and squeeze, release. Great. Okay, now that we've finished working on the muscle for the front of the leg, let's work on the muscle in the back of the leg with the leg curl. Lead with the heel. Remember to keep the knees in proper alignment. The knee should just act as a pivot. Leading with the heel, trying to kick yourself in the bottom, up. Really curl with that hamstring muscle. And one more. Other leg. And curl up. Working out in the water offers a nice way and a nice change of pace from your normal workout routine. Okay, now let's do a couple stretches, shall we? Let's, with our opposite hand and opposite leg, let's stretch out the muscles in the front of the upper leg. I'm going to make sure and follow the tracking of the knee. That's why we're grabbing with the opposite hand. This way we avoid hyperextending our knee. Feel the stretch in the right leg, and then move on to the left leg. Now again, with all stretching, you want to make sure and give a nice, slow, even pull with no bouncing. It feels so good. Take a nice deep breath, feel the stretch, and move on now to our last stretch for the back of the leg, called the hamstring stretch. Again, a nice, slow stretch to the front, feeling the stretch throughout the back of the leg. If this is difficult for you, if you have a shorter range of motion, you can always bend the back leg and switch sides. Great. Forward. Think about bringing the chest down to the knee. Reach out. You'll notice the more you stretch, the more flexible you'll become. Well, there you have it, Flexicalers. Some fun Aquaflex exercises that you can try right in your own pool. Cross-training is a great way to provide your body and your mind with an off-season change of pace. If you're not training for a particular sport, you can use cross-training as a method to add variety and more fun to your workout program. In addition to my cross-training segments, be sure and take a look at my Aquaflex and Kiana metric segments too. When you play a wide variety of recreational beach sports, you're going to need both upper and lower body power to be effective.
Quick reactions and stop-and-go moves, which are common to these sports, require upper and lower body power. Muscle speed is a key component of power. To develop power, you need plyometric drills. The medicine ball side and overhead throw will give you added upper body speed. All of these plyometric drills will help you develop your reflexes, quickness, and agility. So if you're new to this type of training, you'll have to strength train first. If you try these drills, particularly in the sand, without the proper strength, you'll run out of energy in a hurry and potentially injure yourself. Remember, we're professionals out here. You've got to walk before you can run, so train to cross-train. The depth jump with pass catching and long jump with lateral sprinting fit into the beach scene as sport-specific exercises. Although I'm sure you can think of a number of other sports which these drills could help too.
Weight training should develop forearms and shoulders in addition to lower body strength.
Cross-training is a great way to add variety and fun to your fitness program. And what could be better than a day at the beach? But listen up, all of you weekend warriors. You can't go out there cold without proper training. Reverse wrist curls can protect you from tennis elbow, which occurs more often off the tennis court than on. If this exercise isn't in your program, add it before your next trip to the beach. You'll need a total body program to prepare for these sports, and the shoulder press is definitely one you want to include. There's no exercise or sports activity that doesn't require strength in the shoulder girdle. In addition to strong shoulders, you'll need some extra calf raises to prepare for a day of running in the sand. And don't forget about strong legs. The squat should be in everyone's program. A few extra endurance reps for the beach will help.
As you can see, Flexipeelers, both upper and lower body development can make your day at the beach more fun and help prevent injury. Let's play. I've been asked the question as to whether or not strength training and aerobic training are compatible. I always have a follow-up question. Compatible for what? Obviously, the recreational athlete can and should perform both strength training and aerobic exercise. But ask yourself, beyond this, what are your goals? The manner in which muscles adapt to strength and endurance training are different and may result in a conflict between the two training methods. For people interested in strength and power, the muscle may be kept from gaining optimal size by endurance training such as running. Research shows strength training can improve certain aspects of endurance performance and doesn't hurt development. But on the other hand, the additional size and mass that can result from strength training may not be desired by the endurance athlete. Endurance training, such as long-distance running, does not have a negative effect on strength training, but high-intensity endurance training doesn't help for strength and power. For example, it could adversely affect vertical jump or maximum sprint speed. The most effective method of training for strength or endurance at intense levels is to train for one or the other, and not to try to maximize development for both at the same time. At recreational levels, you can do both. Welcome back to the Westin Maui. Training the primary and secondary muscle groups such as the back and biceps is an effective way to train. The primary muscle, in this case the back, is the main muscle you're training. The secondary muscle, the bicep, and that's the muscle that's helping. Today we'll be leading off with bent over rows and preacher curls. Today's workout is all about the back and the biceps. Darren's starting off out with the pull over. You want to get the complete range of motion and slowly lower the weight behind the head. It's very important when you're doing pullovers to use your stabilization muscles and to keep the hips up. The abdominals really come into play on this exercise. Perfect form. If he needs a little spot, I can help him right here at the hands, slightly. Remember, before you start working out, you want to warm up on that treadmill for at least 10 to 12 minutes, or the bike. Good. Come on, Darren, let's go. A couple more. Good form. Exhaling upon the exertion. Good. Okay, I got it for you.
Thank you.
Great. Okay, my turn. Bent over rows. When you do the bent over rows, you want to make sure and keep your back flat. Retract the scapula and pull up.
Kiana's really keeping her elbows in, which gives her a greater range of motion. Where as she retracts that scapula at the top, she gets a real nice pinch in her upper back.
8.
It's good.
10. 3 more. 13. 14. And 15. Now, when we talk about retracting the scapula, what we're talking about is bringing the shoulder blades back and down. Protraction is forward, retraction is back. Remember that. Okay, let's move on. Your turn, back flies. Back nice and flat. Leading with the elbows, keeping a slight bend in the elbows is important. You're working on developing a nice cleavage in the back area. Secondary muscle groups hit are the rear delts.
Now, these are when it's real important to keep those elbows forward as opposed to the bent over rows. You have your elbows in, you're working more with the upper back. Your elbows out, you're working more with the delt.
And training together with the partner is a lot of fun. You can help fine-tune each other's form. A lot of times we do the same thing over and over. We forget about form. Another tip is to look in the mirror and watch yourself. That's what you do, right? Just
Chasing out vein.
Let's go down over here. And but I really will do that if I'm training and trying a new exercise. Check out my form in the mirror. Okay, the high row machine, can be done with both arms together or alternating as I'm doing. Complete range of motion, getting that extension throughout the back, and boom, right there, pulling and contracting.
Kiana's using great form here. If you notice her shoulders are in alignment, she's not rotating with her torso, just pulling back using that upper back.
When you train in the gym, take advantage of all the great equipment that's available and try a machine or try something new. Okay, let's move on, Darren.
All right.
If you want to get the most out of your workout time, be sure to incorporate structural exercises into your training routine. Structural exercises are movements that utilize multiple joints and multiple muscles at one time, such as squats, rows, shoulder presses. Use these basic structural movements as the foundation of your fitness routine, and then supplement and fine-tune it with isolation movements like leg curls, back flies, or side raises. Darren's starting off on the machine curls. Now this is excellent for taking the shoulder out of the bicep curl. You're working the long head of the bicep. You want to make sure you get the complete range of motion, Darren. There you go. Perfect. Whenever you're training biceps, you want to hit the biceps from different angles. So instead of doing 3 to 4 sets of one exercise, you want to do instead one set of 3 to 4 different exercises.
And why do they call these preacher curls also?
Because you're preaching, you're praying. That's right.
You 10 more.
Yeah, really. That's funny. Incline curls are great because they force you to use proper form.
The incline curls, you're actually getting the fullest range of motion because as you see Kiana's arms extending all the way down, extending that bicep. As she brings it up, she gets a nice contraction.
One way to think about it would be if you have a range of motion for all the bicep exercises, a concentration curl has the shortest range of motion, and on the other end, you've got the incline curls with the longest range, right through here. The gravity is pulling my arm straight down. Okay. Now, concentration curls, what we were just talking about, they're called concentration curls because the focus of the exercise is concentrated right here. Good form. Elbow on the inside of the knee. Getting the negative on the way down, not letting the weight fall down. He's controlling it. So as you can see today, we've trained back and biceps, or primary and secondary muscle groups. The primary muscle being the back, the bicep being the secondary because they were helping us do our rows Excellent, good form. If you start to fatigue when you're doing your concentration curls, you can always spot yourself. Darren could grab himself under the forearm and pull up. Great. Okay, let's do our last exercise for the biceps, hammer curls. This is a great finishing movement for the biceps. Keep the elbows tightened to the waist and up.
You're also getting a nice workout in the brachialis part of her forearm, as well as her bicep.
This feels great. What's so fantastic about all these exercises, you can do them in any gym. If you're not lucky enough to be here at the beautiful West End Maui, you can join a gym, you can get some free weights and do them right at home. They're very versatile. 2 more. Last one. There you have it, some great basic exercises that you can do for your back and biceps. Fact or fiction? Fact or fiction? Fact or fiction? All right, flex appealers, fact or fiction? Do you ever get hungry right before bedtime? Me too. Consuming foods right before you go to bed will cause all the calories to be stored as fat. Fact or fiction? Calories will be stored as fat if you take in more energy or calories than you expend. So to make sure that you aren't storing calories, be sure that you expend more energy than you take in. Thanks for joining us today. Hope you had a great time. Now let's take a look at what's coming up on our next show.
In our home gym total body workout, we're getting an entire workout using strictly free weights. All you weightlifters out there won't want to miss our Kiana metric segment, which will show you plyometric drills to improve your weightlifting skills. In cross training, we're improving our golf drive with exercises for the torso. And in Pro Gym, I get to play personal trainer for Kay and Darren and take them through my favorite shoulder and arm workout.